Hi folks, welcome back to The Addicted Bookworm. Alright, so anyways, oh man, I'm like, oh. Alrighty, so it is time for another book review, and this is going to be Nancy's Mysterious Letter by Carolyn Keene. This is actually a reread, so yeah. I read it on my Kobo because here's a weird thing. I read this on my Kobo. I had inadvertently uploaded it, and what happens is when you upload, or like when you open up a file, that will pop up at the top of it as what you're currently reading, and you cannot get rid of it until you have finished with the book. So, yeah, this is it. Alrighty, so it has been quite a long time since I bought a physical Nancy Drew book with the yellow spine and back and everything. I'm planning on to get numbers 9 and 10 next, because the next book in the series is The Sign of the Twisted Candles, which I am super excited about rereading. I'm tell you something. These books, I could reread these books over and over again. They hold up. Even if this is a revised or edited Nancy Drew book, I still can read this book over and over again. This is how good these books have held up over time. So for people that did not watch my original review of this book, let me do it again. So this one is about this letter carrier called Ira. Hold on a second. Ira Nixon. He's a letter carrier, and it's cold out, and Nancy decides to help him out by bringing him inside and let him have something warm to drink and something to eat, even though doing so would be a violation of the rules. This guy is literally freezing to death out there in the cold weather, and I will be very honest with you. The weather back then is nothing like the weather today. Not even close. It's a lot more brutal. Unless you're talking about Russia, then that's entirely different. But anyways, while he was enjoying himself, a bunch of his mail got stolen, which included a letter for Nancy Drew, which turns out to be the wrong Nancy Drew. It's actually a girl called Nancy Smith Drew, and she happens to be an actress. And Ira has a brother called Edgar, who is not exactly a very nice man. So they're brothers. They were raised similarly, but they have two very different personalities. Ira's more of this hardworking, I believe, older brother, and Edgar's more of this devious, nasty younger brother. So sometimes being raised the same doesn't mean you're all going to be exactly the same. So Nancy, Bess, and George have to solve this mystery and ensure that the right Nancy Drew gets her inheritance from England. And Edgar is determined to marry this girl, not out of love, but out of her inheritance. And it's like there is all these women I think he married. What the heck? And yeah, it's just this really weird kind of web that makes you like, I'm reading it on my Kobo, and I'm like, what? Okay, I know it's been like maybe like 2.5, 3 years since I read this book last, but this man was Use modern words. This man was a player. And he was a nasty one at that. And so Nancy, Bess, and George, along with Ned, are like, you know, because Ned appears in this book. Anyways, it was just weird. It was like, huh? 5 stars, 5 stars. The mystery gets solved, and Edgar is arrested, and Nancy Smith Drew finally goes to, spoiler, goes to England to get her inheritance. Anyways, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Alrighty, so I will do a reread of The Sign of the Twisted Candles. I think it was like a couple of months ago, I got the first 10 Nancy Drew books. I believe that you can get them all on Kobo Plus, which is what I like. So yeah. Alright, anyways, that is my video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.